Hello, hello, hello. This is Sir David the Bard. Sir David the Bard coming to you out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm hiding behind a big rock in Arkansas so that the day and nights can't get me. Life goes on. Life goes on. Anyway, I have an article here which I found disturbing. Now, maybe you won't. Maybe you won't. Maybe you won't. No big deal. No big deal. Let me bring this up because I believe it's on CNN here, and that's no big deal either, I guess. Okay, here we go. CNN, and it's here's the headline: Pilots snooze at 30,000 feet in cockpit of 300 passenger plane. Now, you know, when I read that headline, I'm an old bus driver, and those of you that drive truck or bus, you know damn well you got to hold your log current all the time, and it means you better have whatever, 9 hours off, or what is it, 10 off and 8 hours of sleep or something before you drive. And when a highway patrol pulls you over, if that log isn't current, you go down the road. Well, here you are climbing onto a 737, 747, 77, 77 plane. It doesn't matter. If I'm in the back, I thought my ticket paid for a pilot that was awake. Maybe I'm just one of a kind here, one of a kind. Well, let me tell you what CNN said here on this one here. Cruising at 30,000 feet, pilot snoozed in the cockpit of a 300-passenger airline en route to Britain last August, UK Aviation told the CNN authorities. The plane was on autopilot. Well, you know, I fly my simulator a little bit, and I know very little about flying. I know a lot about crashing, but a little about the simulator here. Well, I'll tell you something. 30,000 feet ain't that high when you're in a plane that's flying, you know, 700 or 800, 900. Well, they don't go 900, but anyway. The CNN wouldn't reveal any details of the flight. I'm sure the lawsuits would have come flying into there. Virgin Atlantic acknowledged late Thursday that one of its airliners was the plane named in the CAA report. Virgin Atlantic. Well, there's one I'm not going to be flying on very much. Okay, the August 13th incident appears to be the result of bad scheduling by the airline. Now, let me just say something. I don't care why these pilots were asleep. Okay, what I care about is that they were asleep. I don't care if they just had an orgasm and they went to sleep. I don't care if, you know, they're starving refugees and they go to sleep to get the hunger pain. I don't care if it's scheduling. I don't care. But what I do care about is I'm sitting back there with my little sandwich. I paid $290 to fly somewhere, and I look up there and two of the guys are sound asleep, and I'm going, holy shit, what if the automatic pilot turns off? Well, doesn't happen very much. But there are things that go wrong with airplanes. We've seen that in the last several years, that some of these, well, in fact, that new one, 757, the Airbus, the batteries kept catching on fire. The passengers don't want to see that shit. They go, hell, the front of the plane's on fire. They go, don't worry, that's just the batteries. Well, wake up the pilots. No, they need to sleep. Now, let me just bring you a couple more incidents here. They only had 5 hours of sleep. The airline should have been fined by the government millions of dollars for them having only 5 hours of sleep. They got to their destination safely. You can't have 5 hours sleep in 2 days. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Fatigue ranks among the most sensitive issues in the pilot community. Rules surrounding sleep and relief crews vary from country to country. So, you take off from San Francisco, okay, and two really neat-looking pilots get on and you go, hey, I feel safe. You put down for a change in Taipei, China, and three little Chinamen come on with pillows, and one's got a sleeping bag. You know, oh, shit, I don't want to be on this flight. How come it's not universal? How come we can't make a rule that pilots need to stay awake? Now, I have no problem, none, because those co-pilots are almost as good as the real pilot. If one of the guys or gals wants to lay down and take a nap, the other one should be awake. I have no problem with that. None. We did that on bus trips all the time. We'd have two bus drivers. I'd drive until my 8 hours was up. I'd get on the back seat and sleep. The relief driver would come up and continue the trip. There's nothing dangerous about that. But when both of them are laid over and you can't wake them up, hey, something's wrong. Now, there's an incident here which I thought was funny as hell, okay? See, believe it or not, some experts say pilots sleeping at the controls isn't always dangerous. It is always dangerous. What if you hit a bird? Well, birds don't fly at 30 times. Well, what if you hit another airplane? Well, they're supposed to be separated, yeah, but let me tell you something. It's kind of like driving a car. You can close your eyes 2 or 3 seconds, but you better open them after 2 or 3 seconds because you're going over. Well, anyway, people are arguing whether they should be awake. Let me put my vote in. Yeah, they should be awake. I hate to say it, but I paid them $250. Now, if I have to pay another $252, an extra $2 for a pilot that's awake, I'll pay it. I'll pay it. I don't want the cheap flight. So if your guys get on in different countries with teddy bears and sleeping bags and pillows, watch out. Watch out. Going across the ocean, for instance, is a long route. Well, yeah, but they're paid for that. Rules vary, but generally the sleeping pilot must be supervised by another pilot. That's the way I think it should be, but not every country does that. The report didn't say if both pilots were sleeping at the same time. It's possible the pilots were resting individually under an authorized cockpit napping program. You know, maybe you guys are stupid enough to believe this. I'm not. I'm not. Among U.S. pilots, cockpit napping violates FAA rules. Well, that's good. That's good. They should stay awake. But some experts, including Weiss, I'm going to call him Weesy Weasel, favor the idea. This is a personal belief. Well, he isn't sitting on the back of that airplane. He's making this comment from the ground in a lawn chair. But I would rather have somebody take a nap during a cruise part of the flight so the pilot would be at peak performance during a high-traffic situation or landing. Well, shit. God, I hate to wake them up for the landing. God, just let them land and sleep, and the passengers can jump out on the damn inflatable raft things there. I think it's political, said CNN. I guess it's difficult to tell the public that the captain is asleep at the flight deck. It would be. Most of us would run up on that door and start pounding. Wake up! Take the axe. Wake up! Or we'd all be down, you know, wrapping our garments around our head so we won't be injured when the plane goes into a million pieces. Let me tell you this one here. This one's crazy. This is a 737 pilot was locked out of the cockpit, and his first officer was later found asleep at the controls. So the pilot goes, hell, I got to take a piss. Hey, go ahead, Fred, no problem. So the door locks, the pilot takes a piss, he comes back, and Freddie, you know, it's over the controls, passed out asleep. Does anyone think that that's safe? Am I just, you know, mental illness here? Am I just bringing up something the rest of you, oh, shit, that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing. I ride on buses that blind guys drive all the time. So anyway, this pilot, I don't know how he got back in that door. That door is supposed to be unbreakable, but I guess, I don't know. And I don't want to know. Oh, fatigue played a role in the 2009 crash of Colgan Air Flight 3407 in Buffalo, New York, which killed 50 people. It cited pilot error as a factor, adding that the pilot's performance was impaired because of fatigue. You got to let these guys sleep a day or so before they get back on. In 2009, Northwest Flight 188, an Airbus carrying 320 people, flew past Minneapolis St. Paul Airport. That's where they were supposed to land. So, Jesus, what a world. I'm safe here in the office. I'm safe. I ain't getting on no more airplanes. I'm old, and I want to die in peace. You know, there's that young man that said, you know, I want to die like my father died, in peace and asleep. Not like the rest of the assholes on his bus that were screaming and yelling. So the joke fits here, folks. The joke fits here. When I pay my money, from now on, I'm going to knock on the door. Say, you guys going to stay awake during the whole flight? Are you okay? And one of them takes his teddy bear and hides it between his legs. We're okay. So here's these two Barnum and Bailey circus clowns. They're going to Minneapolis, St. Paul Airport. They get talking, is what they said. They get talking, and they look out, and there goes the airport. If you've got the plane lined up on a GPS, or if you got it lined up on navigation, I can't do the navigation, but I can do the GPS, and you're coming in, you're already descending, you're already starting flaps, you're already putting down the wheels. But when you don't do any of that shit, and you just fly back over the airport you're supposed to land at, people at the tower are going to say, what the hell? Are you guys going to back up and land with the tail first? Jesus. So anyway, if you want a pilot that's awake, you got to say something. You got to stand up for yourself, people. You got to stand up for yourself. So anyway, don't fly much into Minneapolis, St. Paul. They thought the airport was a lot bigger. They were off like 50 or 70 miles from the airport. So anyway, I just thought it was a fun article, and I hope you did too. Thanks.